Before Mike Tyson ever landed a punch, fear was already doing its work. That is what made him different. Most fighters earn respect after the bell rings. Tyson had opponents questioning themselves before the fight had even begun. The walk, the stare, the silence, the cold focus, everything about him felt dangerous. He did not look like a man coming in to compete. He looked like a man coming in to destroy. And once the bell rang, that fear only grew stronger. Tyson moved faster than a heavyweight should have moved, hit harder than most men could endure, and attacked with a level of aggression that made even elite fighters panic. But the real reason he became the most feared man in boxing history was deeper than power alone. Mike Tyson made opponents feel that they were trapped in a nightmare, and in his prime, very few men knew how to escape it. Mike Tyson's presence felt different from the moment he appeared. There was no wasted emotion, no smile for the cameras, no sign of nervous energy. He walked to the ring in silence, wearing simple black trunks, looking completely locked in. That simplicity somehow made him even more terrifying. He did not need flashy entrances or dramatic gestures. His entire aura told opponents that violence was coming, and it was coming fast. Even before the first exchange, many fighters could feel the pressure building. Tyson looked calm, but it was the kind of calm that made people uneasy, like he had already accepted what was about to happen. That body language mattered. In boxing, confidence can spread across the ring, and Tyson's confidence often felt overwhelming. Yet he carried himself like a man who expected total control, and opponents picked up on that immediately. By the time the bell rang, some men were no longer thinking about winning. They were thinking about surviving what stood in front of them. What truly made Tyson terrifying was that his speed did not make sense for a heavyweight. Fighters at that size were supposed to be dangerous, but they were not supposed to move like that. Tyson exploded forward with frightening quickness, slipped punches with sharp head movement, and fired combinations before opponents had time to adjust. He did not give men space to settle, think, or recover. One mistake, one lazy jab, 1 second of hesitation, and Tyson was suddenly inside, attacking with brutal force. That speed changed everything because it made his power even deadlier. Opponents were not just dealing with hard punches. They were dealing with hard punches arriving faster than they could prepare for. And when fear entered the equation, it became even worse. A frightened fighter reacts slower, and against Tyson, slow reaction was disaster. That is why facing him felt so different. He was not only dangerous when he attacked, he was dangerous because everything happened too fast for most men to stop. Mike Tyson's knockout power was the part everyone remembered, but what made it truly terrifying was how suddenly it could take over a fight. Tyson did not need long stretches to wear opponents down. He could change everything in a few violent seconds. A fighter might feel composed one moment, then get caught by a crushing hook to the body or a sharp uppercut through the guard, and suddenly the entire fight was slipping away. That kind of danger creates panic, because opponents know they cannot afford even one small mistake. What made Tyson different from many heavy punchers was how he delivered that power. He was not wild, he was precise. His punches were short, tight, and explosive, thrown with balance and intent. He attacked the body to weaken resistance, then came back upstairs before a fighter could recover. That made his combinations feel relentless. The first punch could hurt you, the second could break your rhythm, and the third could end your night. This is why Tyson was feared on such a deep level. His power was not just about highlight reel knockouts. It was about the constant threat of destruction in every exchange. Fighters knew that if Tyson found the opening, he would not waste it. He would jump on it with speed, force, and ruthless accuracy until the fight was no longer theirs to control. What separated Mike Tyson from other knockout artists was the way he broke fighters mentally before he fully broke them physically. Fear is a powerful thing in boxing, and Tyson knew exactly how to create it. His reputation alone was enough to put pressure on opponents before the opening bell. They had seen the knockouts, the sudden finishes, the way strong men folded once Tyson started closing the distance. By the time they stepped into the ring with him, many were already carrying doubt, and doubt is deadly against a fighter who thrives on hesitation. Once the fight began, that fear often grew worse. Tyson's pressure forced opponents into survival mode. Instead of fighting with confidence and rhythm, they became reactive. They stopped thinking clearly. They held too long, backed up too fast, or threw punches just to keep him off them. That is exactly where Tyson wanted them. A fighter who is panicking is easier to read, easier to trap, and much easier to hurt. This psychological edge made Tyson even more dangerous than his physical tools alone would suggest. He was not just punching opponents, he was attacking their belief in themselves. And when a boxer loses confidence in the ring, his skills start to disappear with it. That is why Tyson felt so terrifying. He made men feel vulnerable, rushed, and outmatched all at once, which often led to the same result: collapse. Mike Tyson did not become that feared by accident. Behind the violence was a system, and behind the system was D'Amato. Icus saw something in Tyson that most people would never fully understand. He saw not only raw power, but rare potential that could be molded into something devastating. Tyson had aggression, speed, and explosive instincts, but under Cus, those traits were sharpened into weapons. He was taught how to control fear, how to think under pressure, and how to fight with purpose rather than chaos. The peekaboo style became the foundation of that transformation. With constant head movement, a tight guard, explosive footwork, and compact combinations, Tyson became incredibly difficult to read. He could slip shots, close distance, and launch counters in one fluid burst. But Cus gave him more than technique. He gave him identity. Tyson entered the ring believing he was the hunter, never the hunted. Well, that mindset changed the energy of every fight before it even started. What made this so dangerous was the combination of discipline and destruction. Tyson was not reckless in his prime. He was trained aggression. Every movement had intention, and every burst of violence was built on preparation. D'Amato did not just help create a champion. He helped create one of the most feared forces boxing had ever seen. In his prime, Mike Tyson did not feel like a normal champion. He felt like a problem with no safe answer. That is what made him seem almost unstoppable. Most heavyweights had one or two elite qualities. Tyson had too many firing at once. He had explosive speed, crushing power, sharp defensive movement, ruthless combinations, and the kind of pressure that gave opponents no room to breathe. But even when fighters came in with a smart plan, Tyson's intensity often shattered that plan in the opening minutes. What made him especially dangerous was how all of his strengths worked together. His head movement made opponents miss. Their missed punches created openings. Those openings allowed Tyson to step inside and unload with terrifying force. Then the fear kicked in, and once fear entered the fight, everything became harder for the man across from him. His legs got heavier, his reactions slowed down, his confidence started to disappear. Tyson did not just attack the body or the chin. He attacked a fighter's sense of control. That is why Prime Tyson felt so overwhelming. He was not giving opponents one problem to solve. He was forcing them to survive speed, pressure, power, and panic all at once. And very few fighters in boxing history have ever made elite professionals look that helpless that quickly. That is why Mike Tyson's name still carries a kind of fear that few fighters in history can match. Decades have passed, new champions have come and gone, and boxing has changed in many ways, yet Tyson still stands apart in the imagination of fans. It is not only because he won, it is because of how he made people feel. He brought a level of danger that seemed immediate, violent, and impossible to ignore. When people think of fear in boxing, they do not just think of knockouts. They think of Tyson walking to the ring, eyes locked forward, and the sense that something brutal was about to happen. What made him the most feared man in boxing history was never just one weapon. It was the complete package, the intimidation, the speed. The pressure, the power, the movement, and the finishing instinct all came together in one terrifying force. In his prime, Tyson did not just beat opponents. He overwhelmed them, rushed them, and made them feel trapped in a fight moving too fast to control. That is why his legacy still feels so powerful. Mike Tyson was not simply respected. He was feared. And in boxing, there is a difference the whole world could see.